When it comes to whether blockbusters are made for everyone or not, there's this term that I actually heard from Sean Chandler from the YouTube channel. Sean Chandler talks about, and I think it's a really good way of phrasing this. The four quadrant blockbusters, meaning men and women, children and adults, everyone. So if you look at MCU, prior to Phase 4, they were doing these four quadrant blockbusters that are meant to be for everyone. Like, none of them are super violent or super edgy, so you feel like you can take the whole family to them. But then in Phase 4, with the Disney Plus shows, that really started to change, where these TV shows are being made for different audiences. Then you look at the DCEU, and right from the beginning, they weren't doing they were not doing four quadrant blockbusters. I mean, Man of Steel, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League, clearly not four quadrant blockbusters because they're made for adults. And Zack Snyder in general is one of these spicy directors where people either love him or hate him. People have really strong opinions about Zack Snyder. Regardless of how you may feel about him, one thing you can't deny is that he has a distinct style. And so people are really split on him. So the DCEU, both with all those films I just mentioned, as well as the 2016 version of Suicide Squad, they were making more niche films that aren't meant to be for everyone, that are not for all four quadrants. But then Aquaman came out, and it's the highest grossing DC movie. Yeah, it's weird, right? Because you'd think that The Dark Knight would be the highest grossing DC film, but no, it's Aquaman. Honestly, I think one of the reasons for that is because Aquaman feels more like an MCU film, because that clearly is a four quadrant blockbuster that's appealing to everyone, so it made a lot of money. Whereas The Dark Knight is clearly more of an adult film. It's not trying to appeal to kids at all, so it's definitely not a four quadrant blockbuster. Then you look at 2023, I mean, the Super Mario movie, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, Mitchell's vs. the Machines. I'm adding some ones that didn't come out in 2023. I mean, those are all movies that are clearly four quadrant blockbusters. They're meant to appeal to everyone. But then you have like Oppenheimer or Sound of Freedom, or I mentioned The Dark Knight already, some of the DCEU films, or Logan. Those are clearly not meant to be for everyone. Those are more adult films. And then you look at the first Minions movie, that's clearly meant for little kids. Not both kids and adults the way that a Pixar film is. No, that is just exclusively aimed for 4-year-old kids. Whereas in the other Despicable Me films, not quite as specific. Like, they're not as alienating to older people. With Minions, it's literally just about the Minions who don't speak in English or any kind of language we can understand. It's just lowbrow humor. So that one is clearly not in any way meant to appeal to adults. I think it's interesting that you look at the MCU and DCEU, and also just movies in general, you can see the difference between a movie that's meant to appeal to everyone and a movie that's not meant to appeal to everyone. I'm definitely curious to see what the DCEU is going to do in this regard. Are they going to do more four quadrant blockbusters, or are they going to do more niche films that aren't meant to appeal to everyone? We'll have to see in that regard, but that'll be it for this discussion.